That was for the audience, not you.
Hunter, how dare you just assume that I haven't watched anime in a while? I mean, you'd be right, like I just said, but you could at least, like, come on, give me a chance, Hunter. I can change. It's season 5. I can be different. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. One of your hosts, Ethan. Joining me, as always, are my good friends, Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Nice little quirky way to start the podcast that was, and people will never know what it was. Just nice little happy anecdotes is always positive here. You guys doing alright? It's been an interesting week, I feel. Games have come out, some to high regard, some not so much. I don't know, and none of us are playing the one
regard,
that's been,
and then people got angry about it.
Because of the microtransactions, which, let's be real here, are a bit crap. Like, they're not good. I'm not giving Capcom... I thought about this last year, because it was the same thing with Resident Evil, where they just, like, they waited a week, and then they were like, yeah,
it's the same thing they've been doing.
Yeah.
Like, they just... Because... there was something like this, like Devil May Cry 5 lets you buy red orbs and stuff. To just, I guess if you aren't good enough to not die, you could buy your way to retry. Yeah. But
it's all good. That's a thing that's happened, and we won't be talking about it any further because none of us played Dragon's Dogma. I'm very happy, though. Very proud of the team. Happy to have another 89 on my fucking side, guys. I'm winning, kids. We're doing good. I'm
glad that one did well. That's one.
I'm surprised it got that high. Time. I think I don't.
You see, I figured it was either gonna do something like that or it was gonna be like a 70 something, because the other one didn't do super hot when it came out. So it was like, so either it's got the juice now or it doesn't.
I don't know. And I don't like to say this, especially about a game that I haven't played, because, I don't like talking about games I haven't played on this podcast. But I feel like in my head, looking at the way that this cycle has been going and the whole thing, I haven't really seen what casuals' impressions are of the game itself. It feels very Deathloopy to me, where we've been in this scenario before where critics adored it, and then it came out, and everyone was just like, huh? And I can't tell yet if that's just because of this microtransaction randomness that's been mixed into the pot, or if it is one of those again where critics really loved it and then everyone else is just chilling. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Like I said, we're not here to talk about it.
It'd be a hilarious inversion of the first game where critics didn't care about it, but people found it and liked it.
Yeah, it'd be fun, I guess. But no, we're here to talk about the games that didn't do so well, like Princess Peach Showtime, everyone's favourite, Rise of the Ronin, and then we're going to finally get some impressions, because we missed out on it in the past week or so, Unicorn Overlord, this game that came out that people like Kyle know about, and people like me know that, I think, did Atlas publish it? I feel like that's all I know about it. There we go.
Atlas published it.
Vanillaware made it.
Yeah. It's the 13 Sentinels, guys. We'll talk all about it in a bit. But yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. We're here on podcast services every Monday around 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern, and on youtube.com/hotgamersonly. Coming up in the next few weeks, God knows, to be honest. We're just hoping we're holding on to a prayer, I guess. Everybody seems to be just biding their time. We're all running on Elden Ring standard time at the moment, it seems. It's like Shin Megami Tensei moved a week earlier. Final Fantasy XIV just to announce that their expansion is coming out a week after to give everybody time to play it, which I thought was funny. Yoshi P literally just walked on stage and was like, I'm giving you 1 week to play the expansion. Then you come back to me, you little degenerates. I'm like, fair play, mate, fair play. But, we've got some stuff coming out. Who knows? Maybe I'll dabble with the Final Fantasy 16 stuff. I don't know if I can be bothered to re-download it. We'll find out. But there's stuff coming, so make sure you're here tuned in. We'll talk about something. We'll ruin some of your days by talking about a game you really like that we haven't played, because that's apparently what we do on this show. Let's start off, though, with Rise of the Ronin. This is the big-ish game of the week, I guess, unless you're a big Princess Peach fan. I'm sorry, Princess Peach fans. I would hate to do you dirty like that. But Rise of the Ronin, game by, is it Team Ninja that made this?
I think it's Team Ninja.
PlayStation, one of those weird second-party exclusives that Sony has loved to do this generation. Where
they don't have any for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason, they love to fire all of their Asian developer staff teams, and then except for Team Asobi, and then are just hiring every other one to make it timed exclusive for some
I don't
godforsaken
understand
reason.
them. And honestly, ever since they got rid of Studio Japan, it really has just been here you go.
And I feel
Be
like it's
exclusive to
like
us for a year or
I
two.
feel like it's not working. Like I genuinely feel like it isn't. Like Final Fantasy is cool and all. We like Final Fantasy, but Japan doesn't really like anything that isn't the Switch at the moment, so that's not really helping them in that market. And we're just vibing. So it's like I just feel like I don't know what the plan is over there, but hey, it's happening. So it's like it's a timed exclusive. I assume it's going to go to other platforms at some point because other Team Ninja games have gone to other platforms, so I assume that it's going to be a timed exclusive. We'll see. With this reception, who knows? We'll find out. But it's by Team Ninja. Hunter, do you want to give us a quick little summary? If you do not know what Rise of the Ronin is, what is it?
All right, so it's like this open world action game.
Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fucking rare sight that one is, guys. Jeez. Haven't seen one of them before.
Yeah, anyway, it takes place in like the late Edo period of Japan, so like 1850, 1860 something. If you watched The Blue-Eyed Samurai, this cool animated show that came out last year, it's right around that era.
Sorry, bro, I haven't
Japan.
watched anime in like 16 years at this point.
That was for the audience, not you.
How dare you, Hunter? How dare you? I can change. A man can change, Hunter. How dare you just assume that I haven't watched anime in a while? I mean, you'd be right, like I just said, but you could at least, come on. Give me a chance, Hunter. I can change. I can change. It's season 5. I can be different.
Maybe I'll finally start using that Crunchyroll subscription.
It's on Netflix. It won't help him.
Oh shit!
I
Sorry,
have one of them
Ethan.
too. It's fine. I'm good. I pay for all the TV subscriptions and then don't watch anything that isn't Doctor Who. I'm fine. I'm vibing. So, yeah.
But anyway,
Edo period. Rise of the Ronin. It's an open world game.
So Japan's borders were like closed to foreigners and stuff, and that's the basic setup. Is there's a faction.
Like COVID. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So there's like a faction that wants to open the borders and a faction that doesn't, and your character is one of 2 orphans that had their village burned down by one of them, and then story goes from there. You train to become an assassin.
I think it's interesting, right? Because I remember seeing a lot of this game at different PlayStation events over the past year or so. I feel like we've seen this game, right? Some bits I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. And the more and more that we saw of this game, the more I was like, oh, I feel like this is just going to be like a generic kind of open world Team Ninja kind of thing. And I don't know if I was down to vibe with that or anything like that. How much have you put into it so far, and how are you feeling about it?
I'd say I got like 6 or 7 hours in it by now. And so Team Ninja's really good at the combat stuff. Like, that's what they excel at. That's why Neo was so cool. That's I liked what I played of Wolong's demo last year. They're really good at that.
Why I didn't which is why I didn't buy this. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not against like the Dark Souls kind of combat systems, because obviously I like Bloodborne, I liked Elden Ring enough, but there was just something about it where I was like, I'm not vibing with this right now, so I'm just gonna stop. And I feel like it just kind of, that's what put me off of it. I was like, is it too similar? Does it feel like they're similar systems before? Is that like the vibe that they're going for with this one?
It's a bit more simplified, I would say. Like, in Neo, for example, you have you could take like 3 different stances or whatever for high, low, and mid attacks and whatnot. And, that would inform how you're using your weapon and when to switch those stances. There are stance changes in this one, but it's more of, it doesn't really change much about what you're doing. It's kind of more like an attribute thing for the person that you're fighting. It's like, oh, this stance has the advantage over this other stance that this guy's using. So it's not necessarily like something for it's not a preference that you really make where it's like, oh, I really like double swords, low attacks to do the little leg snipes on people or
Those
whatever.
were really good in Neo.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of my favorite things to do. But it's more so it's, like, simplified in that way, and I think that's mostly because they add a bunch of other, the other systems that would come with making your game more expansive and open worldy and whatnot.
Mhm. How is the open world? How are you finding it, right? Because I feel like at the end of the day, is it I feel like we have this conversation all the time. There's two types of open worlds, right? We had this conversation literally about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I feel like where it's like you've got the exploration heavy open world games where it's like the world is the character, it's meant to be explored, blah 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 blah, and then you have your Ubisoft bargain basement open world where it's like, do you like markers, everybody? Because I've got 60 million of them. Would you like to go and find 50, 100 chests in the map? Like, what on this? What side of the line are we crossing here?
It leans more towards the icon shotgun kind
Oh,
of,
good. Which,
um
no, don't get me wrong. Right, hear me out. I think there is a place for that. I genuinely do.
yeah, and I think
There's
this
a
one
goopy goblin
does it
gamer
alright.
brain like
The
kind of
place is called
thing.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I think
no,
this is yeah.
old Assassin's Creed's like play me with Final Fantasy, right? I know it doesn't click for everybody, but there are sometimes when I'm playing a big open world RPG or whatever, like playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, there are definitely times where I don't feel like I'm in the mood for a big meaty chunk of story right now, but I could 100% go and do some goofy goblin gamer stuff where I'm like, gotta go and kill a couple of guys and climb some towers. I feel like there's a place for it. It's just every single open world was like that from like 2008 to 2016, so I'm kind of done a
Yeah.
little bit, if that makes sense. So it leans more
One
on that side of being just
yeah,
kind of like loads of objectives on the map.
yeah. One thing to its credit, there aren't, like, towers in the sense that, you climb them and it reveals the map. It's more of just doing things will reveal some things in, like, a certain radius next to you after that. So,
Mhm.
I guess that feels a bit more interesting as far as it's like, "Oh, when I finish this, what will it show me next?" kinda thing.
Hmm.
Uh, as far as that goes, I think that they do a good job at least making it interesting. Getting to and from wherever you are to where you're going, they do a good job at making interesting. The little hang glider suit thing that you find to move around is neat. The grappling hook to shoot off into the air to use the hang glider thing is neat. You can call your horse when you're about to fall, and it just kind of chains right into a going on horseback until you find another grapple
Oh
point.
hell yeah,
It's
like Batmobile, like shit, dude. Like
yeah, yeah. It reminded me of just
kind of like what the
finding.
fuck you on about? I'm like, there's a
Yeah, it
Batmobile
reminded
button
me
in
Oh,
of
Batman could
Arkham.
just call the Batmobile. I
Yeah,
believe
if
it.
you're dive,
yeah,
you can literally just dive, and if you press the Batmobile button, you'll literally just land straight in the fucking cockpit of the Batmobile and zoom off straight away.
Nice.
It was great. It was sick. It's like one of
yeah.
the
I don't know
best
if I
things
just
about that.
waited to the last second to call my horse, or if he would just fall automatically on the horse or whatever. I didn't really test it scientifically, but it did remind me of like finding little grapple points in Batman to shoot off into the air and stuff.
Mm.
So yeah. So, it's been keeping me interested enough. I definitely don't care about everything, so I'm just mostly be like, "Oh, do these guys with they make it obvious which ones have, which ones are like side quest because they give you little pictures of other dudes
Hmm.
next to
Mm.
them, and then it'll be like, "Oh, there are some dudes that have like bounties or whatever." I'll be like, "Okay, I'll kill them too. They probably got some cool loot and so on." And
How are you
then,
finding the story? Because it's like I feel like that's one of the things that have been
mm,
looking in previews, looking at stuff like that. That seems to be one of the big kind of gripes. I feel like I've seen a lot of people that are like, I'm enjoying the gameplay loop, or I'm not caring for the gameplay loop, and then everyone's kind of just in agreement on like, when people like that. That seems to be the noise that I've heard when people talk about the story of this game so far. I've just been like, it's there, which isn't always a compliment. But how are you finding it?
So there's nothing especially like I'm not especially like, oh, I have to know what happens next, but it's enough like this is how I felt about when I played Neo too, where it's like, Neo's story was just a bunch of stupid nonsense for
Mm.
all of the game, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that was fun. It's like I didn't really care what was going on. It was just enough to contextualize what I was doing. That kind of feels the same way here, where it's like, oh, you're looking for your assassin partner who got you had to leave them behind on the opening mission of the game or whatever, but you can sense that they're
Classic,
alive.
yeah. Hmm.
So it's like, oh, it's good enough motivation. It contextualizes thing. It's a cool time period, so it's not like of the few people I've met right now, I don't think I'm sitting here going, "Oh, I'm going to be so sad if one of you were to perish." But
Mm. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's been okay. Uh, some of the writing in other regards has been a little weird, like 1800s, naval soldiers yelling "Bring it on" when I'm about to fight them is a bit weird.
Come and catch these hands.
Classic. It's like
Yeah, it's a bit.
sounds like some kind of Ubisoft problem, dude. It's like when you're going into fucking French Revolution and everyone's Cockney, and you're like, why the what the fuck, what the what, what? Yeah, it just seems like
Yeah, it's a bit
it's one of those
hilarious.
things.
It was funny too. The first assassin target was this. He was like a real dude named Matthew Perry, but all I could think of was the Friends guy.
Yeah,
Like he's an actual historical figure, but you know,
yeah.
it just threw me off. I'm like, oh, that's funny.
You're just sitting there going every time, dude. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Game has a really solid character creator though. Wolong had a really good one too. I think they just carried it over
Neo
probably.
2's was really good too.
Yeah, Team Ninja got the good character
They got
creator
it down, dude.
apparently. Like just to screw around. Like I screwed around in that for like 45 minutes even after I
Oh
made my
wow.
own person because it was like, oh, it asks you to create your, partner person that gets lost in the first hour. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm like, what can I do here? I made him Sephiroth for a minute.
What?
Changed my mind. Saved him to something else. It was funny.
Yeah, I can appreciate a good character creator. I don't ever have the time for him because I just end up going whenever I sit there. I think I remember doing it for Elden Ring where I was like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm actually gonna make a cool looking character, and then every setting I go makes them look worse and worse until I go down and I'm like, it's better off as the default, wasn't it? Really? So it's like I can't ever win with a character creator. I can respect it, especially when people just start making random crap. When you're like, oh, why? How did they make Conan O'Brien in the Elden Ring character creator? How'd you do that? Like, how? Like, can you give me a
This one
code? I want to play as Conan in the Elden Ring. Like, can you just like give me
I
a
think I
code
could
for it?
look for codes if for these creations if I tried to, but it also there's just a randomized button for you to press until you get something that you can, I guess, like
Hmm.
too.
Hell yeah.
But making a character for me is always relatively easy. Just long hair, throw on some scars, woohoo.
The Hunter experience, everybody. The Hunter experience. There you go.
Yeah,
Job's a
my
good one.
my created characters don't look that different from each other most of the time.
Dude, here's the thing though. At least you have like
It's like,
you
was
have
it
yeah.
was it the Japanese developed game or was it more Western? Because if
You
it's like
have like
Japanese leaning,
features though. You know what I mean? Like you can go for if you're just trying to make even if you're trying to make like the worst version of you ever, Hunter, you can at least go for the long hair, wears red, job's done. It'll look enough
yeah,
like you. Like if I go for me, it's just generic white guy. So it's like
Yep.
they're never gonna look anything like me because like all I have to go off is short hair, palest skin you can fucking imagine. Like, go even further, dude. I have never seen the sun. And then it's like, well, still doesn't look like me. Guess I'll shrug and move on.
it's always funny thinking about this because essentially what happened was back in when Dragon Age Inquisition came out, I made my Inquisitor, and I've since realized that I just grew up to be my Inquisitor. But and everyone else has looked like him since, or if it's in the case of this or some other Japanese game, instead of the longer like past the shoulders loose hair, it's in a ponytail.
Dude, people used to ask me why did like when I played Skyrim and when I played like other RPGs, I used to always play as a female character, and people used to ask me why do I always play as a female character? And I used to one, I just do like playing as a female character. I don't know why, but the main reason was when there was a character creator. Whenever I tried to play as a guy, I'd try to make him look like me, fail miserably, and then at least if I'm playing as a female character, I can just mess with the stuff, and I'm not going for a goal. So I'm like, that looks fine. I'm happy with
Mm.
that. Whereas like
It
going for
used to
me
be the
looking like
case
me, I
that
can't do it.
the
I just
female
can't.
characters had a lot more options
Yeah.
too.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, but
That's
that's
not
because
so
that's like
much the issue
half
anymore.
the people on Twitter
But
that are going to waste 600 hours on that character creator are just going to make female characters under. That's why they know what they're doing. They're like,
yeah,
why?
it's not so much an issue anymore. But
Yeah,
because a lot of that's just been like, oh, you can just use whatever asset for whichever gender now.
Yeah.
which
So
is a lot better.
yeah, so but yeah, so
I
the
mean, Saints
character
Row had that
creator is
from the
really good.
start. Dude. Saints Row let you make all kinds of weird concoctions,
Yeah,
and like
they
that
had the
was
right
always fun.
idea.
They had the right idea. Rest
It
in
does a
peace,
good
Saints
job
Row.
at letting you customize your equipment too to go along
Mm,
with that. So
that's
like,
good.
like if I find a cool outfit or cool set of gear, I can go back to like the safe house and be like, I just want to set this to be what it looks like, no matter what I equip.
Mm.
So there's none of this, oh, I'm not going to wear the stupid looking outfit because it looks stupid now. I can equip it and take all the better stats and
No, but Hunter,
still
wear the
look
stupid
cool.
outfit for stupid outfit's sake. I
No, no,
That's
I
what we
don't
love in
care. I don't care
Windblander.
how many. I don't care how many good stats Aloy's stupid headdresses give me. I'm not wearing them.
Do you know how many
Dude,
times I have
hats are the
screamed?
worst thing in
Yeah,
video
they
games,
are the
dude.
worst. I hate them.
Always give me an option to turn hats off,
I do it every
please.
single time. I do it every single
Yep.
time. Toggle it off. I don't care. Even if it looks cool, I just want to see my character's face. Turn the fucker off. I don't like
Hmm.
get it off. It's what annoys me about Rebirth is I wanted this in Remake. They still haven't done it in Rebirth. Can I have the stats of the different swords but still have Cloud's Buster sword, please? Because all the
Dude, I don't
like
understand why that's not a thing.
at least in remake at least in part one, right, like Hard Edge and stuff like that, they looked cool still. So I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like at least still looks good. Don't know what it is with all of Cloud swords and Rebirth. They all look garbage. Every single one of them does not look good. Like it's like I don't want the glowy purple sword on my back. I just don't. Let me move
There
on.
was I forget. There was one other one I liked. It was one of the last ones.
They just don't
But it
like.
was
It's like
like,
this one that's like the bone sword, where it's like
oh, it's the bone sword that I liked. Yeah. I thought
yeah.
the
I was
bone
like,
sword was
yeah.
cool.
Funny
Of
you say
course
that,
it's the
Hunter,
bone
because when I
sword.
equipped that, I was like, I bet you Hunter likes that one, and then I never used it again. Like I got the ability and I moved on. I'm like, that one, that's a Hunter sword in my head. That's just what I was
Yeah, I
thinking.
mean, I did think it looks cool, but like, I wish, if given the choice, I would also just always have it be the Buster Sword visually.
The funny thing is all the other characters I'm fine with because most of them look cool or whatever, or you can't really notice. Like Tifa's gloves, I'm like, that's fine. But it's like Cloud's
Yeah,
Buster
or it's
Sword
like,
is so iconic that whenever he's got any other goofy ass sword on his back, I'm like, this just feels dumb. Especially in Rebirth when it's like, here's the glowy blue one, here's the glowy purple one that looks really bad. It's like, no, I don't want this.
Here's Buster Sword Ultra Rare.
Yeah, they give you the really cool like blue one, and then it's got one materia slot, and you're like, "Well, I'm never using you." Great, brilliant, love this. But yeah, I'm glad when games give you that option because it's just like I just want to look the way like I. So many games I play where I find an outfit I like, and I just am nerfing myself because I don't want to look like stupid McGee where it's
Hmm.
like you're wearing the odd hat, the odd shoes just to get the stat buff. So you're like, this is dumb.
I
I
spent
Everything
hate
is
it.
mismatched.
I
Yeah.
spent the majority of my time playing Fallout 4 in the silly like gangster trench coat
Mm.
because it looked cool and it didn't have any armor until doing a specific quest that would like upgrade it, but I didn't do that until like 40 hours into the game. I was like, it's a good thing I'm a sneaky guy anyway. I'm just, stab people and move on with my day before they can hurt me.
Thing is, yeah, I was the same in Starfield. I was the same way. Once I got an outfit I liked, I didn't care about stats. I'm like, this is my outfit now. At least with Fallout, though, post-apocalypse, picking stuff off the floor. I feel like wearing like mix maxes in everything kind of fits the theme of Fallout. At least, like, yeah, of course I'm wearing
Yeah.
a gangster trench coat and a stupid hat. Like, why would I not be? I've got nothing else to do. But no, I'm glad that they have that in there. Do we have any other points? Obviously, graphics have been a weird one. People say the game doesn't look too great. How are you feeling on that one, Hunter? I know you're not the most
I think it looks
technologically
fine.
inclined. Yeah.
It's like, so the thing about it is like Neo and Wolong were both stylized visually in a way that I thought were cool. Like the colors would really pop when
Mm.
it showed up. This one doesn't have that. It's just kind of, it's not trying to be like the most hyper realistic thing in the world or anything. Like it's not pushing any boundaries, so it looks fine. It's just also doesn't look like,
It just looks like everything else.
it doesn't look super visually impressive. Like it's not. I'm not gonna. I probably wouldn't look at a scene from this game and be able to pick it out in a year from now. You know.
I don't think it also helps that it's like it's just come out on the back of Rebirth, and it's just come out on the back of like
Oh
all these
yeah,
other
where that
games
game.
that
Yeah,
look
yeah. I have been looking at
fantastic.
a game that seems impossibly good looking sometimes. So you know, that could also be coloring my perception.
Yeah, I feel like there's not many PS5 like straight up PS5 exclusives. So when I do play one, I'm like, I want a bit of the shiny where I'm like, give me a reason here. And like I look at that game and I'm like, it does the job. It's fine. But also it's not giving me the shiny. Like I'm not saying that I go, ooh, look at Cloud's eyes. like just like you
Yeah.
randomly do. You're just like, wow, why? Why have you spent so much time on them? Like that's crazy. Um but I think
But
people get too in
also,
the
I am a
weeds
big
about it.
appreciator of the meme. I want games that look worse and cost less and all of that, whatever the full spiel of that meme was.
Mm.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
you
I think
know,
there's a perfect middle ground where we can
yeah.
have games that look nice and don't take 20 years to make. It's just called like
It's
make
called the
the.
Nintendo Switch.
It's called no. It's don't you dare. We'll get to Princess Peach Showtime. That game does not look good, Kyle. Sit down. Right, we'll get to that later. But you
But
know,
yeah, this game looks fine. I think people trying to say it looks like a PS2 or PS3 game are being silly. There's still
go
People
back and
don't
play a
there's
remember
PS3
PS2
game.
games.
Go
these
back
people
and play
don't
a
remember
PS3 game.
PS3 games. This game has more saturation than most of the games on that console combined.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Do you have any concluding thoughts, Hunter? Any opinions? Any thoughts? Comments? Concerns? Recommendations?
This grappling hook is a lot of fun.
Okay.
Like on top of getting around, like using it to like you can like assassinate people by pulling them up to you and stabbing them and stuff.
Oh,
It's sick. You can jump in,
cool.
or like if there, so you can do a jump, you can jump button and then just pull yourself to them too. It's rad. It's a fun little bit of business on the move set here.
Well, there you go then. That's all you need to know, guys. Would you recommend it so
Grappling.
far from your time, your few hours, Hunter?
Yeah, I've been having a fun time. If you were already interested in it, then pick it up. Don't let reviews talk you out of it because that's cowardice.
Stick to your
But also good.
guns.
Yeah, really though, guys. Come on. I mean, it's a 76 gun. Just kidding with you. It's like just play it,
Princess
dude.
Peach is also a 76.
I don't know which from hearing
And we
Hunter's
know which
impressions already.
76 we'd
I know
want.
which we know which one I'm going to recommend out of the two so far. But that's spoilers for later. If you're a podcast listener, just so you know, that Princess Peach will be the third topic on today's episode. So there you go. I'll give you a tease though. It's not looking good for that one. So come back in 20 minutes. You'll find out all about it. Let's move on to Unicorn Overlord, a game that came out a week and a half ago, I think, as of this going up. Is
It
something
was
like
like
that?
March
Couple
8th.
weeks back,
Was
yeah.
it a couple
Yeah.
of weeks? It was a bit ago. But it's been
Hmm.
out for, like you say, it's been out for about 2 weeks. Published by Atlas, made by the team that made 13 Sentinels. Kyle, how much time have you put in to Unicorn Overlord,
Lord.
Revolution,
Corn Lord.
whatever it is? How much time have you put into it?
So I finished the game, and I think I was close to 50 hours on my playthrough.
Okay,
So
chunky game.
pretty solid. I did also go out of my way to do a lot of the side stuff.
And you played on Switch, correct?
I played on Nintendo Switch, correct?
It's available on
Because
everything, but yeah.
I thought it was Switch exclusive, like a goober.
Which, to be fair,
I don't know
looking at
why.
it, I know why. Look at it. Look at the cover. Look at everything. It screams Switch exclusive. It screams like, even though Atlas is publishing it, it screams like a fucking Square Enix JRPG that they're just putting on Switch and nothing else. Like, you know what I mean? It's got that alive energy. Like, it's just like, yeah, just put it out there. We'll live with it. We'll vibe. But no, it is available everywhere if you're so inclined. For those who are unaware of Unicorn Overlord, like me, what is it, Kyle? What is the brief kind of rundown that you'd give?
So the best way I can describe the game is that it's like a live fuck, what was I gonna say? Real time strategy meets like control point in like a shooter game, essentially.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Basically,
So so it's like an RTS game essentially.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So basically, you build these units of up to five characters, and then you deploy them, and all of the enemies and you all move at the same time. It's not a turn-based strategy like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics is.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of like managing your units, making sure that they're all on the right path, just keeping tabs on everybody.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very much kind of it's an RTS, right? It's a classic RTS kind of
Hmm.
um management of your units and all that kind of stuff, making sure fighting for objectives and all that stuff, trying to take control of points.
Hmm.
Which is a genre that I don't want to say it's a genre that isn't seen too often now. Well, it is a genre that's kind of not as popular as it
It's
used to
definitely
be.
gone away over the years, it
Yeah.
feels like.
Especially console RTS. I feel like PC has always had its RTS fans and all there's like this Supreme Commander and all that jazz
Yeah,
where
a
it's like
bunch
there's
of
people that play stuff. I've never been fully into it, to be honest. Like I had some people who are like years and years ago, over a decade ago, really tried to get me into them, and it's like. You guys know what I'm like low attention
Yeah.
span monkey, right? So I'm like, no, I do not like this. I cannot comprehend. Uh, I don't want to know 50 different rock paper scissors combinations. Okay, I just don't. But I've always appreciated them because it's like you say, it's a genre that was popular, but it's kind of died down a bit in similar ways to like other genres like platformers have in the past, right? They ebb and flow. Um,
Mm.
so it's nice to see a new take on this, especially from a team like Vanillaware, who
Yeah.
have made great games in the past, like 13 Sentinels. I know Hunter liked that game quite a bit.
yeah, and honestly, that sounds kind of in line with what 13 Sentinels felt like some kind of RTS. As far as the combat gameplay as well, most of the stuff was happening in real time, and then like when you wanted to do things with your special guys, you would stop time for a second for you to do something. But
Yep.
you know,
You could play a game.
Yeah.
You could have gameplay in 13 Sentinels.
yeah,
As you wait for the visual novel to carry on, you're like, well, what is this gameplay? I'm
it
away at
was
my
more out of
visual novel.
obligation than anything. Yes, I didn't care for the combat in 13 Sentinels.
It's on my list. It's on my backlog list. Go back 2 weeks, guys. I'll get to it. But yeah, so what's the story of Unicorn Overlord? What's happening and how are you vibing with it? Or how did you vibe with it, I guess, because we're that far in the impressions process that you're done.
um yeah. So the basic setup of the story is that at the start, um your main character's kingdom gets invaded, and
Cal
he's
use the
basic
proper name.
you're
His name's Mr. Unicorn. Give him his correct name.
that is
Yeah,
true. His name is John Unicorn.
yeah, yeah.
So John Unicorn, he's a little baby John,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
Little John,
his
yeah.
his unicorn kingdom gets attacked by the Overlord.
yeah,
We'll call him
yeah,
that, the
yeah.
evil Overlord.
Mm-hmm.
And then flash forward about 18 or to when he is 18, so probably 10
Okay.
years from he's Big John now. Big John
Big
Unicorn,
J, yeah. Big J.
Big J. And basically
People are gonna hate us. It's great.
I love this game, by the
You
way.
love the
I
game,
want you
but
to know.
yeah.
But this is my favorite game of the year so far.
Someone's gonna be out there like, no one talked about this game, and the three fuckers that are just taking the piss. Like, who the fuck is Big J? I don't like. Anyway,
But so flash forward to when Elaine, that is the actual main character, is not
Mhm.
John Unicorn.
yeah,
Elaine, he is 18 years old now, and he and his other friends are essentially the town that Elaine got moved to gets attacked, gets invaded, and it's at that point Elaine is just like, okay, we need to do something about this invasion and just take back my kingdom.
and there you go.
This sounds like a Fire Emblem plot.
It's
It does
pretty
sound like a Fire
Fire
Emblem
Emblem
plot.
adjacent.
This sounds like back in Smash Brothers Brawl when I did the codec for Marth. Mei Ling told me about this game.
I mean, yeah, it's like
But
It's a
I am.
it's an easy setup for a plot.
Yeah, yeah. I
Definitely
imagine it's
can give a lot of agency to the characters,
if the
and then
character's got the juice, then I imagine it's great.
yeah. And then also, so like you're going around, there's these other continents or other areas you go to, and each area has their own subplot essentially that goes on there,
Mm.
but it's all building towards the end goal of reclaiming your kingdom.
Rad.
No, fair enough. Um, so like you said, you really did like this game. What are the things
Mhm.
that you really appreciated about it? Because it's like I've been hearing the little bits that I have been hearing about Unicorn Overlord online are very positive. People seem to be really liking this game quite a bit. It's sold out in a lot of places I've seen. So good
Really?
luck. Yeah, like
Oh damn.
especially in Japan. Japan's loving this game. It's sold out everywhere apparently.
Hell
So
yeah.
which
You
is
like to see
impressive for Japan.
that.
Another
That's
Vanillaware
that's good to
W.
hear because apparently they went nearly broke making it.
I
Oh,
think they used all their budget on this game.
oh, good.
Yeah, so
So,
it's good
Doing a
that it's
double fan
selling out
special. Yeah,
places.
cool. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that.
well, apparently the same thing happened when they did Aegis Rim too.
Yeah,
it doesn't shock
So,
me.
no. Nah,
the
Vanillaware's great, dude. I'll play another
yeah,
game if they make one.
yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
But
things you love
some of the
about it.
things I really liked about it were a lot of the characters. So yeah, it's a strategy game. You're gonna get
Mm,
thrown a million different characters, all of them with their own different skill sets and personalities and all that. And but it doesn't feel like you ever get like overwhelmed by all the characters. You're basically just gonna gravitate to like your 20-25 favorites,
Jimmy
build units
Pegasus.
build units around them, and then just pretty much just focus down on all of them. The other option is so I never really used this feature, but you can basically create your own units if you're ever like the game only gave me one magic user and I want a squad of like 3 of them. But that's not something I ever did because I got by just fine with all the units the game was throwing at me.
how would you rank it on like a difficulty scale, right? Because I feel like these games tend to they go one way, right? There's beginner friendly, which is like usually a good thing, and then there is the we know only the hardcore fans are going to play this. Let's make this
You're gonna
stupidly
learn
difficult for the
today.
so yeah, you're going to learn how to play it.
Mm.
How would you say it fares? I assume with you saying that the you're not needing to create content and stuff like that. I assume there's a good balance there.
I'm gonna say the game definitely leans toward the easier side of things,
Mm,
but because by the end of the game, that I was only really deploying around like 5 units at a time.
mm.
So, and 2 of them were basically unkillable. So,
Ah, I love being at the end of games like this where you're just running around with your invincible team.
dude, so I'm gonna give y'all a pro tip if you're deciding to try it out. Um, Horses, cavaliers are absolutely busted.
Oh,
It's
rad.
to like a hilarious degree. And once you can promote classes, Elaine gets to ride a horse, so it just feeds back into it. Like, what makes them so good is that, like, they just move faster than every other unit.
Hell yeah.
So, you just send your horses in and run over everything. But, so I do think the game is on the easier end of things, but you can also adjust the difficulty whenever you see fit in the options. And if you think normal mode is too hard, you can bump it down to easy mode.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I definitely
So
say though, like start the game out on normal, and then if you think that's too easy, bump it up. That's what I ended up having to do.
that's it's good advice for most
Mhm.
JRPGs nowadays. Anyway, I feel like I
Yeah,
remember when we were, when we talked about Persona and stuff like that, we're like, oh, Royal's actually quite easy or whatever. But literally before Royal, it was like normal was like banging. Sometimes for not most people, normal was banging your head on the fucking wall like half the time. Like I
yeah,
remember playing Madarame in base P5 on normal, wanted to fucking like hit my head on the desk every 5 seconds because it's just like
Big
JRPGs had a
scanning you out of the
tendency to be
mouth.
bullshit for a long period of their like of the genre's existence, right? But now in more modern JRPGs, it's just a notice from in general, right? It seems to be they're trying to be more welcoming, more open, and
mm.
everything's just been getting progressively easier. So yeah,
modern games in general, like letting you change difficulty settings is super nice.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of that.
it's always good. I like that. I think it's a good quality of life. I've never understood. There's some games that do it. Some games still do it. Where if you go to the very easiest of modes, then it locks you in as if you go, you fucking stupid, like get in the
Yeah,
bin.
that's
I'm like,
weird,
why?
but
Persona 5 does that where like safe mode, it's like, yeah, but once you go into safe mode, there's no coming out of it. I'm like, why? That's like,
you're gonna wear that like a
oh
badge of
baby,
shame.
yeah, baby needs the help.
Baby want his
Ooh,
bottle, big
oh,
dirt
you have to
bottle.
stay there. Like, no, it's dumb. Like, just let people chill. Like,
Hmm.
I
Like I can
understand
understand
locking people
locking
into
you in on like the
hardest.
hardest
Yeah,
difficulty, but
yeah, that makes
locking you
sense.
in on the easiest?
Dumb,
That is
yeah,
weird.
very stupid.
Hmm.
Do you have any other thoughts that you want to give?
Um, this game's got a demo available, and you get like
So
I
they
think you can
all
play like the whole first area of the game, which is like 7 to 10 hours.
it's a good
So
Rad.
demo.
that is a chunky demo.
It's
That
a
is a
big
chunky
boy.
demo.
No,
We
game's
do
a
love
lot of
big boy
fun.
demos, though.
Voice acting's great. I think the story is compelling enough to keep you going. Side stuff, it can be done in like 10 seconds. So never feels like it interrupts anything.
That's good.
Um, I think that's about all I needed to say.
Well, there
Vanilla
you
Game's
go.
Ware's
good.
art style is always a thumbs up.
Oh, the art style's so beautiful, dude.
Oh,
The
their hand.
food looks so good. Did Aegis Rim have food in it, Hunter?
Uh, only like tiny little pictures when you had to like fake
Ah,
buy stuff. But
ah.
yeah,
Gotta be better than the Fire Emblem food, dude. I love that 2D apple, dude. That's my favorite.
Mm. Yeah, and honestly, like speaking of Fire Emblem, like when it comes to me playing strategy RPGs in the future, like it's gonna be hard to go back to like grid-based tactics because this game, everything just moves so quickly, and I really like the live action. You know, yeah, having to always pay attention. It's just gonna be hard to go back to like turn-based tactics.
well, I don't know. The
Don't
Fire
worry.
Emblem was
How
looking
long's it
like you
been?
only liked the
Yeah.
first one you played anyway, so
I
maybe
mean,
you
It's all.
shouldn't go back.
We're,
yeah,
we're,
but I'm
we're, we're
gonna.
we're
Hunter, I've
gonna
You
bought
be.
every.
shouldn't.
There'll be
I'm
a
gonna, Hunter.
disappointment.
I don't learn lessons. I've bought every Fire Emblem after
No, you should,
Awakening.
Kyle. Look at what's happened to Ethan with Assassin's Creed. Learn from him. Do
No,
not
There's,
commit.
this is my
I
Assassin's
don't think you
Creed.
understand. I've only played like 14 Assassin's Creed games. I don't think it's that much of a problem, okay? But no. Here's the thing. Fire, it is true. The Fire Emblem thing is true, though. Like I said, I love Three Houses. I fucking hated Engage, and I think like I'll hate every other one, like
Yeah.
till the dawn of time.
Welcome to Fire Emblem. You like the first one you played, and then you hate all of the rest of them.
I just, I just don't understand. I'll never understand. Here's the thing, right? Is I look back at other Fire Emblem games and like you go from Awakening to Fates and to Echoes and all that jazz to Three Houses, and I can see the steps there, and I can understand why people don't like the game's following. But I can at least say that they're making strides into making something that they wanted to make. Engage, I look at and go, well, you
But
just took a
why
step
though?
back in every fucking way. And I'm like, how did you
Mm.
do that one? That's the one where I'm like, huh? That's the ugly duckling where I'm like, I can at least see how Fates came after Awakening. I can't see how Engage came after every other one. Like, I just don't. I don't get it. But no, go check out Unicorn Overlord if you haven't and you're into those kinds of games. It's a pretty good, especially if you're looking for games to play on your Switch that aren't Princess Peach Showtime, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. It's time to bash the kids game like we like to do on
Hell
this
yeah.
podcast. Hell yeah. Bashing kids games is what we've been doing since 2020, everybody.
Kids
Um,
are stupid.
yeah.
When we started the show with our two favorite kids games, Animal Crossing and Doom.
It's true.
It's true. I can't believe Doom didn't win Family Game that year.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like the best way to describe Princess Peach Showtime from my out. Here's the thing, right? I will start off by happily admitting I did not buy this video game. I played the demo through twice. I'm not stupid. I'm not paying for it. Thank you.
He
I
played the
can't wait
demo
for you to get this
twice.
as a Christmas present later this
No,
year.
I'm putting it on the like the avoid list. I'm like, do not touch. Here's the thing: if I was to give you the bottom line, the one line summary of Princess Peach Showtime, this is ready. It is Princess Peach is a Nintendo 7 out of 10, which means basically it's a regular 5 out of 10 video game, right? This is like I feel like this game is made for children, and that's doing children a disservice. And that's how, like, it is a 2-button video
Ethan, have you
game.
seen some of the games made for adults?
I have, unfortunately. But here's the thing, right? Is I feel like, and I don't know if it is, because I've noticed this trend where it's like, kids games these days, unless it's like, a new 3D Mario or 2D Mario platformer, or, most of the mainline Nintendo stuff, like, nobody really makes good kids games anymore. You know what I mean? It's like Paw Patrol, Peppa Pig, all these garbage games based off of IP, and then
Yeah.
stuff that's just like B-rate platformer stuff. And the thing that annoys me about Princess Peach Showtime is similar to games that Goodfeel have made before. This is made by Goodfeel, like Yoshi's Crafted World. It's all visual and no substance whatsoever. Like, it is 2 buttons. It is a jump button and it is a do things button. And that is it. When you're playing a Sword Fighter Peach, you press the A button to jump and you press the Y button to literally do anything else in the video game. Do you want to fight enemies? You press the Y button. You have this move called I can't remember what it was called. It's like you wave a ribbon around, basically. It's like a sparkle move or whatever. It just kills everything. It is literally the kill button. So you just press that, you wave the magic wand, it kills the bad guy. You wave the magic wand, it heals the little weird things that aren't toads, but they're like this new weird looking thing. It's just boring. It really is. It looks really nice. Everything's set out like a stage. She has a key light on her at all times. It's like it looks very nice, except in handheld mode where it's blurry as fuck. But stylistically, it looks very nice. But that's it. Like, in terms of substance, it's the most boring cookie cutter, run of the mill 2.5D platformer I've ever played in my life, where it is slow, it is just mashing buttons. Every time you finish a screen as Sword Fighter Peach, she has to do a little pose as if to go, you did it, you mashed the Y button, and then you have to watch that for 3 seconds and then move on to the next scene. And it's just like, it's so boring. It's like monotonous. I played as Chef Peach, I think it's Patisserie Peach, or whatever you want to call her, right? And it literally is. It's like, do you want to bake a cake, bro? You gotta bake some cookies. What you have to do is you have to go over to a place. You have to mash the button. And you have to put the fucking plate, like press B to go and put it somewhere else. And just repeat that for 60 seconds. Just mash the B button, walk over there. Mash the B button, walk over there. Mash the B button, walk over there. You did it. Good job. Let's go make some cakes in the next room. What do we do there? Well, you sit on this giant thing and you press the Y button to put the icing on top of the cake. And you just do that for another 90 seconds. Good job. That's the level. Gold star. I'm like,
You just described 2 Mario Party mini games.
I did, didn't I? Then that is it. Patisserie Peach is just Mario Party mini games, basically. It's just like, I feel like this game discredits good family games. Like, like when we're looking at, like, we look at Pikmin or we look at Splatoon and we're like, oh man, these games Pikmin's fantastic, right? But it's like, it's the same. It's a very similar game to Pikmin 3. Splatoon 3, very similar game to Splatoon 2. But I'm like, yeah, but at least there's some sauce there, dude. There's some juice. This is like, wow, I see your daughter watch the Mario movie, have a video game. And I'm like, fuck that off. Give her 3D World. She'll have a much better time with 3D World. You can play as Peach and it's a good video game right there. Go play that. Don't play this. It's like
Mario Wonder,
fantastic 2D platformer. It's just, after having games like Mario Wonder, having games like Mario RPG come out, the Paper Mario remake, having all these good Mario games come out recently, And then just having this, I'm just sitting there going, why are they? I remember when I booted up the demo, I saw that the game's currently sitting at 76. I'm like, okay, it is just going to be one of those Mario spin-offs, and I put it in and I play it, and it is one of those Mario spin-offs. But I get that, I just end up getting that feeling where it's like, who really is going to? And I say this with all the love in the world, right? Who's going to give a shit about Mario Tennis Aces other than Mario Tennis fans, really? Let's be honest here. Like, an 8-year-old's going to play Mario Tennis and go, okay, and then go back to Fortnite, right? Like a little dumbass. But this game, I feel like Princess Peach Showtime is going to be quite a few kids, like young kids' first video game that they're going to play. I feel like parents are going to buy Switches, and then for their daughter that's just seen the Mario movie last year, gone, Princess Peach game, she's going to love this. And I'm like, for that kind of player, it'll be all right. But for any other kid that has played any other video game in their life, they're going to be bored senseless. It's so monotonous. Where I'm sitting there and I'm going, I can't even see an 8-year-old enjoying this for more than 5 minutes. I'm going to be real. The cutscenes are all right. The story just shouldn't exist. It literally is Peach gets a flyer for a theater and goes, we should go, Toads, and off they go. And then this villain called Grape comes out and goes, blah de blah
Grape?
blah blah. Yeah. You could tell they were cooking on this one, Hunter. And they were like, blah de blah blah blah. I have now cursed the theater. Muha.
And mysteriously strawberry citrus flavored, not even grape flavored.
Yeah, and Peach is like, I guess I'll help, and that's it. And it's like, the transformations, cool idea, stuff like that. The whole idea of everything being on a stage and you looking at it from that and the scenes changing, cool idea conceptually and visually. I'm like, that's cool.
It is a neat idea. It reminds me of Puppeteer.
It reminds me of Psychonauts 1, because there's a level in Psychonauts 1 where you're doing like, there's a play and you have to mess with the play and stuff like that. But the only difference is Psychonauts did it better like 20 years ago, because you actually can interact with it and change the emotions, and the scene changes when you change the props. Whereas this is just kind of, again, it's Yoshi's Crafted World. It's all substance. Oh look, everything's made out of cardboard. I'm like, cool. So are the controls, because it feels like ass. Like, like, it's not that great. It's fine. It does the job. But would that get would a kid be really excited about Princess Peach Showtime? I really don't know. In the same way that even old good feel games like Kirby's Epic Yarn and Yoshi's Woolly World, which I feel like, yes, they had this gimmick to them, but they were also really solid platformers and really fun to play.
Yeah, Woolly World was good though.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this, it has like the charm and the design of it, but there's nothing there. It's literally just mash a button. You win. Congratulations. There's not even like, the collectibles are all on the main path. You'd be really stupid to miss them. So it's like, again, there's nothing to it really. I did do my due diligence and I went up, because obviously, Ethan, that's just 2 levels that you played twice for your own torture. Yes, I did, but I also did my due diligence and went and looked up what reviews were saying, and to see if things shift, I went and watched gameplay of all the other Princess Peach playstyles just to make sure I was on the same page before I go out and say, don't buy this video game. And I look at, and I'm like, it is the same. Yes, there's a couple of the Ninja Peach and stuff like that. There's some more fun ideas to be had there, but I'm still sitting there going, at the end of the day, I can think of quite literally 24 video games on the Nintendo Switch that would be better for somebody to play right now. And let's be real, you're at the end of the life cycle. I doubt that you have played all of them, and if you haven't, congratulations, you've got a game that's worth playing more than this game right here. Like, go and play it. After Mario Wonder, 3D World, there's literally every 3D Mario Ball Galaxy 2 is on the Nintendo Switch. Well, not anymore, because they've locked 3 of them away forever in the Disney Vault. But, the rest of them are all on there. I'd rather you go play New Suit.
Individually?
No, you can't. They never did that.
They took them off the them off the eShop.
Yep. You can play 64 on Nintendo Switch Online, but that's it. But like I say, I'd rather you go out and buy New Super Mario Bros. U and play that than this, because yes, that game was charmless and stuff like that. But here's the thing: we got bored of New Soup because every game was the same, but it still was, at the end of the day, a fun 2D platformer. Like, I hate the art style, but that's literally it. It's inoffensive in terms of gameplay. but there's more gameplay to be had in New Soup than there is in this. So it's like, I wouldn't recommend you pick this game up unless, like I say, unless you've got like a 4-year-old, 5-year-old daughter who has just seen the Mario Bros. Movie, and that is your kid's obsession. If it somehow isn't Moana or Frozen or Encanto or something, because that seems to be like every film that because it's just, I just feel like those are the films, right? It's always the Disney films that are like Frozen, all that jazz, right? But if you for some reason have a daughter that's really fixated on the Mario Bros. Movie, give her Mario Wonder. Like, just don't give her this. Like this, it feels like it feels like a cash grab, and it's sad to say that because I can tell that there's been some effort put into it, but like I say, it's all fluff. It's no substance whatsoever. It literally is mash the button, win a prize. You did it, guys. Good job. Would you like to do that for 5 hours? Maybe not. I don't know. I wish it was better. That's the thing, is when I first saw the reveal, I was like, oh, this looks interesting, actually. This could be good. A Princess Peach game,
I
that could be
remember
good.
seeing the reveal for it. I'm like, oh, interesting.
I was going to buy it. I was like, hell yeah, that looks pretty decent. And then the more I saw of it, I'm like, oh no, this looks kind of mid. And then I played it, I'm like, oh no, this is kind of mid. Like, it's not great. It feels like a last year Nintendo Switch game, which is not a good thing to say, but it does kind of feel like it checks all those boxes. You know, when the 3DS was on death's door and you just had that line of games that came out, and it just ticked all those boxes of like
Luigi's Mansion.
Doing the bet with Luigi's Mansion 2 looking at you coming up the rear again. Like,
can't believe I can't believe Luigi's Mansion is the guillotine for 2 consoles in a row.
A port of 3 will be the third, dude. It will be coming up again. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nothing burger, dude. It's like, it's not worth playing. There are games that deserve your time more right now on the Nintendo Switch, never mind, and everywhere else. If this wins Best Family Game, I'll be very annoyed. It shouldn't. Jeff, it better not. It'll probably be Paper Mario. I hope it's Paper Mario.
Yeah, Paper Mario.
But yeah, it just annoys me. And Nintendo 7 is so annoying. I don't know if it annoys you guys, but it's like a Nintendo 7
It does, because I always pick
me.
those ones instead of the Nintendo 8s.
That's true. But it just annoys me because, like, I know that if this game, I just
It's
know that if this
There's
game
no way
is
Pokemon
cool,
Snap is that much better.
it just is. It probably is. Here's the thing, though. It's like, it annoys me because it was like, if this game was called, I don't know any other like IP right now that is like more female centric for like younger girls that would be turned into a video game, right? But we talked about SpongeBob last week with the Bikini Bottom, like rehydrated or whatever and stuff like that. But if this was just SpongeBob SquarePants Showtime, right? You just swap Princess Peach out for SpongeBob. This would get 50s. Like, this would be like considered really dull and boring, and it annoys me because I'm like, yo, can you just do me a favor? Can you bash it in for me for a bit? Just a little bit. Give it some 60s, you know what I mean? Like, if we were doing this, if I was doing a full-on review for HGO right now, it'd be a 3. Like, it genuinely, it'd be a nothing burger, where I'm like, I can't say it's an avoid because it's a functional video game, right? And I'm like, if you have a 4-year-old daughter, she might have a good time with this game, right? Like, it might be fine. But, man, it's got nothing to it. It's got absolutely nothing to it. Unless you really want to fucking play Mario Party mini games and something that isn't Mario Party.
Want to play Mario Party, but don't have friends and the CPU beats you.
Genuinely. But yeah, there you go. That's my that's my only impressions of Princess Peach Showtime. Don't bother. Get yourself a better game. Why don't you get yourself like Hi-Fi Rush on the PS5? That's what you should be doing. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Shall we round this out by very quickly giving your quick impressions? Because you have finally played Hi-Fi Rush, Carl.
Played it and finished it. Game is very, very good. Definitely worth waiting a year to play.
Hell yeah.
No notes. Game is a ton of fun. Only issue I had with it is that there's no lock-on button.
No
which
notes. 2 seconds later, gives notes.
Oh, I've got no notes because I couldn't find my pen, and then just details like 60 different things. um, I always feel like I didn't mind not having a lock on in Hi-Fi Rush,
It didn't
but
bother me either. It
I
was just
feel like
something I
here's the
was
thing,
it's
though.
noticed.
just a it's just an odd decision for me because I feel like there was another. I couldn't remember what it was, but I feel like there was another action game I played where I'm like, man,
Ghost of Tsushima.
was it Ghost? I was thinking it was Ghost, but
Yeah,
I
Ghost of
remember
Tsushima
so
didn't have a
little
lock
about.
on.
I remember so little about Ghost of Tsushima, but I also feel like if I asked you, you would know. So
Yeah.
What I always find funny about the games that are now old enough that we talk about them with like retrospect, but we did it on this podcast, is if we really cared, we could go back and find our past opinions on it. I'm not going to go find out what I thought of Ghost of
no,
Tsushima, but it's out there. I could go and see what 22-year-old Ethan thought about it. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like
but
with Hi-Fi Rush, I didn't mind it, but it's like also I don't know about you. There's nothing I hate more than a bad lock-on button. I hate it almost more than not having it. Like I find that with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, I really hate its lock-on because sometimes it just like because sometimes
Sometimes I
it just
think the
swaps me
atmospheric
around.
pressure
Like yeah,
changes in my room slightly, and suddenly I'm attacking something
yeah,
different
that's
because
how
it
I feel.
registered
You know
the
what I mean?
stick
Like
being nudged, and I'm like, "But Cloud, you were just about to stagger that guy.
I
Come
feel
on!"
like there's a better method to lock onto people than then have it going, okay, you're locked on. So now if you move your right analog stick a fucking micrometer, you're done. Like, no, I actually want to be able to lock on and still change the camera slightly so I can tweak it and fixate on it. Like, no, that's dumb.
dude, you know who did lock-ons correctly? Kingdom Hearts 1. Where you had that, so the L2 and R2 buttons did nothing unless you were locked on, and that just shuffled between the targets you were locked on to. So you still had the right stick to move the camera.
Yeah, that would
Mm.
be nice. But,
It
you
was
know, we
great.
can't live in a perfect world from 2002 or whatever,
Two.
Kyle. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Like, come on, dude, that's unrealistic. But no, yeah, I'm glad you finally got to play it. I really do
I'm
like
glad.
Hi-Fi Rush. I said
I'm
last
glad I
week I
got to
wasn't
play
gonna
it.
buy it. I did buy it.
I know
I'm
you
a sucker.
did.
Yeah, I was like,
I
I'm not
saw.
gonna I'm not gonna play it anytime soon. But I had some money in my PlayStation wallet, so I only paid like $15 for it, and I was like, I'll happily pay $15 for Hi-Fi Rush again. Just like I said to Hunter, I want Phil Spencer to look at the data he's selling on me and go and see that I specifically bought it on PlayStation 5 even though I own an Xbox and have Game Pass. I want him to have that information just to
It's not about the
freak him
money.
out.
It's
Yeah.
about sending a
It
message.
is about sending a message. It's called I liked it when Bethesda games were on everywhere. Like that was my message. I'll be doing the same with Double Fine in the future. I'll be going, you better release it on Steam and PlayStation, Microsoft. I'll be
Oh, it's
coming for you.
absolutely gonna happen with Senua. Cash in another free month of Game Pass somehow to play
I've
Senua
got a code
Saga.
for you because I can share it, can't
Yeah,
I?
yeah, there we go. I
Yeah.
love not paying for Xbox games. And then a year later, when Senua inevitably comes to the other to PlayStation, because I feel like that's exactly the kind of one that would. Um,
Dude, I have a feeling that, like, yeah, I. Here's the thing: is I think it's a smart move. I really do. I do think more games from Xbox. I don't think your Forzas, your Gears, your Halos need to necessarily move over, but I definitely think moving your Bethesda games over and moving like your Senuas or your Double Fine games, which you know are going to have a limited audience regardless. Like, I don't think that, as much as I love Tim Schafer and I love Double Fine, right? I don't think everybody on Xbox is really chomping at the bit, but going like, oh, I can't wait for Psychonauts 3 if that ever happens. Like, no, it's like Double Fine fans are gonna look for that for like in 2045, right? Like,
yeah.
no one else is. Same with Senua. I really don't see many Xbox people actually picking that up realistically.
No, no. I've been friends with an Xbox fan for a very long time, and he does not have the taste.
If they do though, it'd be like, I'll play it on Game Pass, and then your
Yeah.
job's good in really. I feel like that is the main problem with Game Pass is I have never been inclined to buy an Xbox game. And if I ever
Yeah.
do,
until it goes somewhere else.
until it goes somewhere else, which is bad, isn't it? Because it's like, here's the thing is, I'm never going to buy Hi-Fi Rush because in my head on Xbox, I was always like, even if my Game Pass runs out, I would rather, even if it's expired, I'd rather just then go back and buy a
Play
month
it
of Game
somewhere
Pass
else.
and catch up on everything else as well as play Hi-Fi Rush. I've got no need because that catalog's never going to expire because they own it, which is kind of an issue. But I am glad you got to play it. It's very good.
Me
It's a
too,
very
dude.
good game. I highly
It's a
recommend
very,
it.
very good video game.
Any highlights? What was your favorite boss?
Good question. The wolf one was pretty neat.
Oh, the wolf
Yeah, it's
one
pretty
was
good.
great.
Final boss was a spectacle.
Yeah.
Big
It's a
fan
challenging one as well. I do like how that game
Hmm.
doesn't just like it doesn't pull its punches at the end.
Yeah.
It really does go, okay, yeah, try and actually beat it. Like it's a challenging one.
Yeah, man. A year later, I can still remember a bunch of moments from the game that made me laugh. Him trying to reason with the robot that he couldn't hurt
Oh
was
my
hilarious. I think about that one all the time.
The best
Dude, this game
transition
got
in
a
the
lot of
game, the
good
best
laughs.
transition in the game is when he gets punched in the face and it instantly turns to a. You can't tell with the moment when it changes to an anime cutscene. I'm like, that's so fucking
Yeah,
impressive.
it's so good.
Mm.
Or like after you beat Corsica and he's just dragging her body and hitting it off of stuff.
Yeah. I really hope, and I have a feeling that with this release everywhere else, because as everyone assumes, it'll also be coming to Switch when Switch 2 eventually drops in the year 2027. I assume that they are doing this for the reason of they have intentions of making a sequel, and I am very much
Yeah.
looking forward to the moment that they do that. I will be there day one. It's a fantastic game. Tango should
Assuming
be
I
very
can play it,
proud.
I will be there day one too.
Yeah.
Day one on the other consoles.
I'll be there day one in spirit, dude.
Day one of multi-plat.
Maybe that time, Kyle, you'll be lucky enough to have a PC that doesn't explode when it tries to run it. And then maybe you'll be able to have another one of my 14-day Xbox Game Pass passes, and then everyone will be able to play it for free. I get
Hell
4 of
yeah.
those a year, so we'll
Oh
put
my
it in for
God.
2027. And there we go. But no, I'm glad you finally got to play it.
Me too, dude. And
good
like,
stuff.
I didn't realize the game would be that short too. Like I told you guys earlier, my playthrough was less than 6 hours.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know
dude.
how you did that because my playthrough was like 14, so I don't know how you.
I don't know how you did that either.
You're just built
But-
different, dude.
I was somewhere in the middle. I was like looking off at stuff, be like, oh, that's neat. And whatever. But yeah, I beat it in like the same weekend that I finished up Dead Space. I had to pause it for a minute, but because I started it like the week before the game, because it like came out in the middle of the week last year.
It was a
or whatever.
Tuesday, wasn't it? It was like it was
Yeah.
a Tuesday, something like that.
So I was like, so I played.
I remember
because
I was like, damn it, I gotta turn on my Xbox and download something. That's a shame.
Yeah. And then Dead Space came out, and I played that for the next week, and then finished it up, and then Hi-Fi Rush was right there. I'm like, finish you too. Very cool.
That double hit. But no,
Oh man.
like I say, go check it out if you haven't. If you have a PS5, there's no other games that have come out.
That's true.
You gotta play
PlayStation's
Rise
not
of the
giving you
Ronin,
anything to
Final
work
Fantasy
with.
VII Rebirth. You're telling me you're not done? I'm not done either because
Persona
that
3.
stupid glitch. So hey, come back next week. Will I have finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Probably not.
Probably not.
I'm hoping that. Here's the thing, right? Because it's Easter weekend next weekend. I get a couple of bank holidays off, so I get a long weekend. So I'm hoping by Thursday, they will have hot fixed it. That's my hope, because then I'll just be able to binge it on the long weekend and be finally done with it. That's my dream. As I feel like it's been going on long enough. It has, nearly a month. That's crazy.
I was gonna say, look forward to our spoiler cast in May.
Guys, I'm so sorry. It will, maybe it should happen eventually. I promise you. I've just got to
It's
finish
okay.
the game.
It took like a month or two to get the spoiler cast for Remake up too.
Yeah, but
because
the difference is
you were
I was
playing an
playing
entire
Royal.
Persona
Yeah,
game in
that
between
was the
it.
difference. That was the difference. Although, let's be real here, right? I'm trying, guys. If you want to know my current progress, I am in chapter 12. I'm stuck with a bug for a side quest that is been broken in the latest patch. And to conclude my statement, I am also extremely stupid. My current playtime on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, with 2 chapters still to go, is 77 hours. I am still going. I don't know. I looked it up. I platinumed Final Fantasy VII Remake in 70 hours. I've got over that now, and I haven't even finished the fucking main game. It's ridiculous. I don't know how they do it.
And he's not even going to get a plat out of this playthrough.
No, I doubt I will ever. And if I will, it'll take
There's like
me
another
another
100
80
hours
hours.
for that.
Yeah. Ugh. F it. Anyway. That's our show, I guess.
You should just become a master chocobo racer until...
Been there, done that, beat all the races, mate. Already did it, first place. Already done. Any other questions? I've done every mini game that up to this point.
How much random nonsense does the Queen's Blood table at the saucer generate for you?
A lot.
Because like I did a couple of them to gather some footage for the review the other day, and then I didn't really look at how extensive that was, but I saw that the list was.
There's one called like Ultimate, like, or whatever. It's like the final one where it's like 5 rounds, and it's awful. It was miserable. It took me an hour and a half to do it. It was really bad.
Oof.
Because there was one time and I wanted to cry where I got 72 points. I screamed yes because they were only going to be on like 63. Turns out they've put a card down where if they won the lane, they got an extra 10 points. So they won 73 to 72. I cried. I fucking cried. It was a miserable.
It was always funny being like, oh, I've clearly lost a lane here, but I just have to make sure that I put everything else into this one that I've got the big old snaky boy on.
My strategy for most of Queen's Blood was just take control of the map as quickly as possible. I had a set strategy I did every time, and it paid off most times. But you know, I've done I've done every mini game. I think I've 100%ed every mini game. Other than, obviously, I can't do the glitched stuff, which is the Golden Saucer stuff. That's that final side quest, and that side quest unlocks the Sephiroth in the 3D brawler, which is my final 3D brawler fight. But I've done everything else. And the Cactar Crusher mini game for the Proto Relics in the Coral region because it locks you out halfway through. But this is nerd shit that does not need to be on the podcast.
That's true.
But that'll come soon. Review coming soon. Spoiler coming soon.
Yeah, there should be a review
that happens
sometime.
when you just Cal's like, "What's a proto relic?" As he skips happily into the sunset with his little 25-hour playthrough of the game.
Dude, I know proto relics from Final Fantasy XIV. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Hell yeah, dude.
Unless you started playing FF14 and didn't tell me.
Tell me.
But if that's the case,
no, Chadley wants his proto relics.
Anymore.
Chadley wants his proto relics, dude. What can I say? He's a
Chadley can suck it.
Chadley can go do one.
And if you believe that Chadley can do one, you can also go and follow us on Twitter if you want. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on podcast services. Search for Hot Games Only everywhere. We're everywhere, guys. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Chadley sucks.
He's does.
Bad. I'm glad you finally come around.
Yeah, to answer your question from a minute ago, there should be a review up this week.
There should. Will it happen? Find out, I guess.
I don't know, unless I come down with a violent case of the dying, then
I might because of the stupid bug. I would be done with it. I probably would have been done with it this weekend if I'd actually been able to play it. But alas, I've just been watching Double Fine Psychodyssey again because I'm mental and I like watching really long stuff. Very good, by the way. That's literally what I've been doing. Is I watched all of Double Fine Adventure over like a month, and then in the past week I've watched like 20 episodes of the Psychonauts one.
No, that's the spirit.
When you finally get around Hunter to play Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2, you should definitely watch it. It's very good.
Oh man, I do like documentaries like that. I love the no clip Supergiant stuff.
Legitimately, I'm watching it and I'm like, I genuinely think that it's the best documentary ever made in terms of video game documentaries. It's so good. I'd recommend the Broken Age one as well. I'd watch it all because it's basically a continuation. But it's like it's such a good look because Broken Age was a game where things went wrong for certain reasons, and then they go into Psychonauts 2 going, well, Psychonauts 1's development was hell and Broken Age didn't go that well. This one could possibly not go wrong, and then it goes wrong for completely different reasons. It's like, it's really good, especially because you know that Psychonauts 2 was such a beloved game, like it's a critically acclaimed darling. You know that they're making something great. Just watching them go through absolute hell to get to it it's such a good experience. I'd highly recommend it.
Oh man, Broken Age. I stopped midway through that one.
You should.
Not midway through. I got like part way through, and then I was like, oh, stabbing Gary doesn't work anymore. And then stopped. Something else came out. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's good. I love Broken Age as well. It's a good game. It's a good game. I'm just gonna. Hunter's bullied me for years, pressured me into playing games for years. I'm finally gonna bully him into playing 2 games and watching a documentary. It's my time. Anyway,
It's in defense of the Psychonauts one. They are games I'm already interested in.
hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. To be fair, you can watch the Broken Age one. I like the documentary more than the game. You can watch it without. Yeah. It's an interesting look.
Broken Age is an adventure game. I could just watch Broken Age if I wanted.
You could. I don't think it's a good way to do it. Anyway, that's it for this week. Join us next week, where nothing could possibly go wrong. I'm sure it'll be a fun time. Completely normal episode of the podcast coming right up. But until then, I guess, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.